ready to get great information on knowing your rights on estate planning, bankruptcy, divorce, alimony, and much more. Now, for today's show, here's attorney Carmiece Graves.
Welcome to the Carmiece Graves Radio Show. I'm attorney CPA Carmiece T. Graves. I'm in the building. Thanks so much for having me. I have been away for a couple of weeks, so you guys have been revisiting some of our favorite episodes here in the Carmiece Graves Radio Show. But we are midsummer. It's here. I mean, we are mid-July, and it's wonderful. Today's show, I tell you guys, this stuff is really guided because I really sometimes have no idea as to what I want to share. And sometimes I said, I'm going to have to let this go and I'm going to let this flow. That's the mode I'm in right now. Letting it go and letting it flow. That's what you got to do in life. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can't control outcomes. You can't control so many variables in life, but you can control how you feel about those variables and uncontrollables in life. And you got to let it go and let it flow. So as I walked through the door today and I sat in the seat, let me tell y'all, for one, coming across town, I had to bend time. Now, you know, when you're in it, and I want to talk about personal power, and I'm gonna tell you this story, but let me tell you what we're going to talk about first. So today we're going to talk about now what came from the being is prenuptial agreements, alimony, and marital property. I was like, oh, really? That's what we're talking about? Okay, that's what we're talking about. All right, so we're going to go over that and give you my views, give you some perspective, give you some information, just some nuggets of wisdom to think about if this is something that you may want to contemplate, may want to take a go at it. I'll tell you both sides, pros and cons, kind of just what I think and what I some concerns that I think people should be aware of. So, with that, let's just jump right into it. But let me tell you, hold on, back up. Now, letting it go and letting it flow. One of the things that I think it's really important in life generally, this is just my general tip, is that we have to really acknowledge that we have personal power. Right, and that personal power, when we're talking about goal setting, because we're mid-year, so at the beginning of the year we talked about goals and things that we wanted to accomplish, and we're past the midway mark right now. It's time to check in, see if your goals are unfolding the way you would like. And the tip there is the personal power that you have fueling your goals matters. The personal power of individuals is really the essence of what makes and distinguish people that have life turn out the way they like versus those that don't. The matter of the depth of your personal power. So you could imagine this, and this is what I mean. So, and usually the personal power that you have, the amount of it really is going to correlate to how good you feel. Okay, you do your best work when you're feeling good. You're your best self when you're feeling good. I think that kind of makes basic sense, right? Your best self would be out when you're feeling the best. So, and then, when you're not feeling that good, you're not really showing up for yourself and others, and it's not your best self. So having your best self available as much of the time that is possible to fuel your goals is imperative. It is an imperative. That's why when it comes to high-performing individuals, professionally, in any accord, whether that's an athlete, whether that's a corporate Wall Street person, lawyer, doctor, super mom at home with the kids, okay, all of those, just what we're doing in life requires personal power, and you're going to need, and if you want to manifest, if you want to be able to put your imprint in the world, make your mark, kind of steer your life, design your life. There's a whole book on that. I mean, I did it before I knew there was a book, but there's a book about designing your life, making sure that it kind of turns out the way you want it to so that you can enjoy it. Why? Because it revitalizes you by increasing the amount of joy that you have, therefore increasing your life force. Then the cycle wonderfully continues. You have more personal power to manifest and get what you want. Now, personal power, again, it was going to be attributed to how well you feel, how much of the time. And you can analyze that for yourself. This is simple concepts, you know what I mean? what you need to look at is how much of the time are you feeling good? Are you complaining a lot? Are you feeling that life is having its way with you? If a whole bunch of stuff going wrong, you don't have a perfect, we're not looking for a perfect life, because nobody has that. There's going to be always something in flux and change, growth, expansion. You can't grow if everything stays unmoved and staying in its place. It's going to have to be displaced for your expansion and growth. So that's nothing. So it's not about having everything lined up. Like, I got this. Like, anybody say that, that's a lie. There's always something moving and changing in everyone's lives all the time, even if you just get into a higher level of what you're doing already, or getting to a deeper point in relationships, or, expanding financial goals, or taking your hobbies to another level. Maybe you're into working out and now you like, I'm really good at this. I could be a trainer. So it's always this expansion and growth. So it's not about it all being locked down, but it's all really, how do you respond to change and whether it blows you? So key point is, make sure that you have a process to revitalize your personal power. So that's what you're going to need to fuel your goals, okay? A complaining, losing attitude, how could that manifest anything great? That don't even make sense when I say it. Okay? When I say it to you, it don't make sense. Why would a complaining individual that feels defeated by life be able to bring out a gem of a gem? You looking for a windfall? Okay, keep waiting on that. All right? Keep waiting on that. Could happen, might not. It's like lightning. Might strike, might not. You know what I mean? So if that's how you want to gamble it, I don't know. I want to kind of, steer this thing a bit more. I can't really define exactly how everything's going to turn out, but I know the general direction that I want my ship to be sailing in, and I know the experience I want to have when I'm on my ship and how we cruising, right? So that is really important. So process to revitalizing your personal power. That's definitely sleep. That's definitely good food. That's definitely time in nature. And then depending on your person, it could be golf, it could be swimming, it could be whatever. But we've got, like in America, we are known to work more than most countries and be less productive. Dang! But with this country's history, you can understand where that might come from. Okay? Just work. We don't give a goddamn how you feel about it today. Don't care if you're tired. Don't care if you're sick. Don't care. Just work. Let's make sure that we are not treating ourselves like that, and we push back a bit and make sure that we have an ability, a time, the reprieve, the fun. It's summer. Hopefully you're getting to the beach, you're doing something fun, you're taking vacations, you're hanging out, you're doing something for fun, like kids, for fun, because it revitalizes your personal power. Rest, rejuvenation, good food, okay? So hopefully those goals are unfolding, because I'm really happy with what is happening with me with regard to my personal goals. I'll tell you, I wanted to slender down a bit, okay? I was like, okay, I'm feeling like, I need to, I'm getting a little bit older, I got to focus on this thing. So what my approach was, and I'll give you this gem too, was I wanted to find a way that was fun, because remember, I just said you can't be blown and manifest anything great. So I can't be like, I'm getting older, it's so hard when you get it, and I'm like, I'm looking at people around me that's blowing that out the water, that's a lie. I got you by 10 years and I'm fit and equipped. I'm like, okay, so I really knew that I could not be complaining, so it couldn't be something that would make me complain, like, I don't want to get up and go to the gym. I'm blown. I'm out of it. I'm not even there. I'm not even absorbing the activity. So for me, I was able to make sure that it was going to be easy, that it was just going to be a gift to myself, that I just was going to pick something that was fun, that I wanted to do, that I just wanted to do. I love dancing, so I've increased dancing. I used to run track. Okay, now this is funny, because this is definitely me appreciating my age. So I used to run track. Now that has been deduced to a decent paced walk over the Wilson Bridge. I got out, you know what I mean? And then the hill. Okay, let me hit the hill. It feels like how I was in high school doing something. I used to run track. Now it's down to a brisk walk. So, and then you know what? Let me tell y'all, going out there, there's older women. There's a crew of older women that will whop you on that trail. They will whop you. Yo, you don't have any. I used to run. I'd be like, look, I know. They'd be like, no, you don't know. I'm going to see you, okay? Because I do this every day. So it's good to see strong hearts, healthy bodies going out doing what they got to do. So that is my public service announcement regarding personal power. So let's get into it. So you want to talk about prenups? Y'all want to talk about prenups? We want prenups. Do you? Okay, let's talk about it. So pretty much what a prenuptial agreement is designed to do is for you and your to-be spouse decide on how things will go if there's a separation, divorce, in the future regarding marital property and alimony. You can deal with those issues under the prenuptial agreement. So that's what it does, because whether you know it or not, you get into the marriage and you go forth, and if things don't work out, the law by statute has set up a set of rules that will tell you how this is going to go. If you didn't think about it, they have a plan. That's when you hear about, 50% of this and 50% of that, and splitting marital assets. So you can change it, you can augment it. Now, this is very theoretical, what I'm telling you right now, okay? Because when the rubber meets the road, it has a depth to it that is serious. Honestly, imagine. So you have to think about the time frame upon which you would be having this conversation, right? So you and the person have fallen madly in love. You madly in love, okay? The sick kind of everybody can't stand love. Okay, oh God, here they come again. I love you, love you, love you. They're in that stage, right? They're engaged. They have set a date. Maybe not. Hopefully not. Hopefully we're having this conversation way before the invitations have gone out, way before a date. Maybe the date set, because you guys set the dates out like a year in advance, but definitely before the invitations go out, and I'm explaining to you why. So you guys are like about to stand up and make a determination that this thing is going to go the distance, right? All right, that's what you're going to do on your wedding day. Now, before your wedding day, you want to sit down and have a conversation about if what we say we wrong, how we going to do this. Now that's life. People change, people grow, it can happen, fine. It's not like divorce is a new concept. It's always been a part of society. It's in everybody's book how to get out of this thing. So anyway, the issue then becomes, so here let's talk about it. Say the law says that you're entitled to 50% of the marital property, okay? Now that gets into other questions about what is marital property. Okay, you guys can define what's in and what's out, what's included, what's not. You get it, because there's definitions under the law. In Maryland, it's any property that's acquired during the course of the marriage. Also, any property that you might have had before the marriage that you've used marital assets towards. Let me break that down and give you a real life example. So, say that you had a house, you had a mortgage, you owned it before you got married, right? It's titled just to the husband. That was his townhouse, condo, whatever, and he had that before he got married. Now, before he got married, here's the important point. It was not completely paid off. There was a mortgage on it, okay? There was a mortgage on it. So this only applies to if you had not paid for it in advance. Now, during the course of the marriage, what matters is if during the course of the marriage, any of the money that he earned from work is used to pay off that asset, any money that is acquired or any assets acquired during the marriage, if any of that money is used to pay off that house, it has changed the character of that property. Now it's considered partially marital property. So the definition matters. So we're going to continue this riveting discussion right after traffic and weather. I'll be right back. Thanks for tuning in. Stay locked to the Carmiece Radio Show. Thanks. Yeah, Facebook family, thanks for tuning in. So what we're going to do is we are going to go over just a technical definition of just the technicalities of the prenup, and then get into the realities of the prenup, because it gets tough, because you're going to ask somebody to put a value on something that's intrinsically valuable, which is time, love, appreciation, blah, blah, blah. Now, there could be some things that you put in there, like adultery. Like, that's what I would put in mind, that if there's adultery, automatic termination of everything, like, boosh, that agreement, you lost all your rights. So think about it, but it's trying to control human behavior, and you can't, you just can't. So you can just say, hey, this is what I would think is fair. But it's a tough conversation to have. It really is, especially when you really love each other. So, yeah, I think money is something that can always be regenerated. So, as long as you don't leave me in the poorhouse, just let it fly.
I'm Angela Foster on 1450 AM, 95.9 FM, WOL, where information is power.
And we're back to the Carmiece Graves Radio Show. Attorney Carmiece CPA. Attorney CPA in the building, practicing family law, bankruptcy, and estate planning in Maryland and DC. And today we're getting into the nuts and bolts of prenuptial agreements. So we're laying down the foundation just of what it is, the mechanics of it, okay? So before we checked in with traffic and whether we were talking about how marital property may be defined. Now, say under the law, so what I was giving you for the break, let's just to recap real quick. If you had property individually titled to, say, husband, and then husband, but it had a mortgage, it's titled to him, but it was not purchased in full, and you end up paying on that house, say you just paid a mortgage, with money that you are earning during the course of the marriage, which is also marital property. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know y'all paychecks is marital property? People be tight when they learn that. That's why the 401ks are marital property. That's just, it could... All right, we're not going to digress. So anyway, the marital property money is used to pay off the non-marital property, and then it transmutes it into partially marital for the time that you was married. So then it cuts it, it bifurcates it. So say you got a 30-year mortgage, and 4 or 5 of those years was before the marriage, and then say, okay, I'm just going to do the math, say you get divorced after 27 years, which does happen, people change, let's not be judgmental. 27 years you get divorced, and now it's paid off. Well, I would argue that 25 years of that is marital. Okay, let me tell y'all, I'm giving y'all some good information. You can't rely on it, though. You still need a consultation so I can do the direct analysis to your fact pattern, because one factor can change the analysis. So don't try this at home. Don't try this. So back to now. So what the prenuptial agreement can do is change that. You can say, no, what I came in with, I'm keeping no matter what. People like this, I don't give a rat's what. I don't care, it's mine. I don't care what the law say. That's mine, forever mine. And then, but you think about it, just your spouse, like, yeah, you came in with that, so that's cool. You can really have it be a modern day agreement about, I would never want to take your 401k or your pension, and what we came in with, any assets we had before the marriage, it's yours, So, but then you have to think about that. Think about how that might play out. I would add, as long as it's used with maybe some assets. So if you got some property, think about renting that out, because you don't want to be in a situation where the person is using the money that's supposed to help the household, the main household, to go fix up their stuff, you know what I mean? Then you got a red flag. You're like, something don't look right. But anyway, it's all about, you can't really control people. You can't really control circumstances. And this would just be like, okay, as best as I could guess it, this is how I would think this would be fair. So kind of thinking about those things, and you get to change the rules. And that's why that is when you get a really great, this is when the attorney that you have doing your prenuptial agreement really needs to be skilled in understanding what the factors are and what the likely outcomes may or may not be, so that you can try your best to come up with an agreement that you think is fair. Now, here's where it gets sticky and tricky, okay? Now, say you have to make a decision. So say if you didn't have a prenuptial agreement and the person, you and your spouse, or your spouse owns a business and the business grows, okay? And this is kind of what they do. This is what they're into. This is their business. This is their baby. Now, without an agreement, depending on the jurisdiction, I'm just going to analyze it under Maryland law. They would be entitled, like say this business was primarily developed during the course of the marriage, and it doesnn't matter. It doesn't matter what the asset is. I'm just thinking about an asset that really can appreciate in value. It could be stock, I don't know, but it's usually something like a business where people feel like they're personally invested in it, and wouldn't want to part ways with it. So, under the law could say, well, if whatever portion of it that was developed during the course of the marriage, you get 50% of that, right? You get your marital share of whatever part was developed during the course of the marriage. So 2/3 of it, by the time we're having this discussion, if it's been in existence for 30 years and only the last 10 years y'all was married, you could argue you get half of a third. We get the math, you don't get half of the whole thing. You get half of what was going on when me and you was together, But say you're a young couple starting out and you are going to go the distance with this thing. I like to really affirm it on the positive. And you say, well, I don't want you to get 50% of whatever my share is. Well, then the question becomes, well, the idea, so let's talk about this, and this is what is most important, because people will say, well, how come it's not based on whether that person actually worked? It's the same concept as your check. You'll say, how come my check is a part of marital property when it was only me at the office? It was only me on the metro. It was only me dealing with these people at work. You know what I mean? It was only my skill set that contributed to the production of that money. Well, the court don't see it like that. I don't see it like that. Not when you get married, not when you become a union, because it becomes a team effort, it's viewed as. So, look, we was holding each other down, de-stressing, having fun. Look how it come all around. You had a partner in working on developing your personal power. They were helping to be your outlet, helping you relax and chill and eat good food and get sleep, take care of the kids, you ain't got to worry, They helped develop the personal power that you use to go out there and make that money. So the court says that's valuable. That's valuable, and we're going to say it's equally as valuable as the person going out there, because we know that really contributes to your success, having a good home life. And now you want to have the conversation of, well, I don't think that's worth 50%. It's like this, all right, well, tell me how much you think it's worth. And you can see that conversation, especially if you have it with me, we ain't starting off good. Well, how much you think it's worth then? How much? How much you think it's worth? How much you think it's worth? Okay, I can't hear you. How much you think? How much you think? You know what I mean? So it's a funny situation to find yourself in. And here's what I think. I said it during the break on the Facebook live feed, which is, honestly, I feel like money is a resource that can always be developed. It can always be gone. It's based on your personal power, which can always be revitalized. That's the source of your money. So to me, I don't know. It depends on how, if y'all are, some people are very business minded. Be like, just give me 30%, we good. All right, I'll get 30. You know what I mean? If you can do it like that, fine. But if it gets a little bit, I don't know, think about it, because I feel like money is something you'll always be able to regenerate, because it came from your source. It came from the ability for you to manage your personal power, and that was the essence of your success. So all the time, no matter what levels we're dealing with, when it comes to marital property, I didn't get to alimony this week. I'll pick that up next week, because they are both really big topics. So I was ambitious to try and cover them both, but they both can be negotiated under the prenuptial agreement during a time of separation and divorce. That's important, that time frame. And you could put in some rights regarding how you want your estate to be dealt with and their rights there. But I would not put all that in their prenup. So we'll get to that part. But so think about it. I just think I like the Kelsey Grammer style. Like, he never stressed. He never worried. He got remarried. They're like, Kelsey, are you going to get a prenup? He's like, no. I was like, no, that's the boss, because he knows. I think, but it depends. It's very personal. It's very personal. So there could be some big things afoot that you just want to say, look, babe, can I give you 27%? You'd be like, okay, honey, I love you. Whatever. I don't care, because 27% of a whole lot is still a whole lot, and 27% of nothing is nothing. So it's all relative, and so be light about it. You can be thoughtful about it. Definitely, those are things to bring up when you do your pre-marital counseling. I think they go over those things. You absolutely everybody needs to have their own attorney, okay? So here's some more technicalities. This is not a group mediation. Everybody has to be independently represented by counsel so that you can get a raw feel and answer to, yeah, okay, as long as you know this and this is, you need to have your advocate, and it has to be timely. You don't want someone you done sent out the wedding invitations and now it's like extortion. They're like this, okay, we sent out the invitations, but now I'm not signing this. And you'll just be embarrassed. The court considers that would be under duress. That's duress. If you negotiate a prenuptial agreement and the other person doesn't have time to get an attorney or doesn't have time to sleep on it because it's a big deal and invitations have gone out, that's duress. And we would put that aside if I got that side of the case, okay? So those are my tips on prenuptial agreements. Hopefully that's helpful to you, and you can give me a call if you have questions about those issues and want to explore them more. But I think people are doing well. Congratulations to all the engaged couples that I know that are moving forward, young black couples going out there, getting married, doing the thing. Very happy and proud. Some of my colleagues, giving shout out and love to them. So I think people are doing really well. But again, it's the summertime. Make sure you get that vitamin D, you get outside, and you really work on your process for developing your personal power and looking and seeing where you could love yourself more, give yourself more time with R&R, and have some good manifestations. Let's continue to work on our goals from January. I'm not giving up. I haven't forgotten. They're unfolding. Things are happening. But life is always going to happen. It's going to knock you off your center, and you better have a process to get back on square, because that's just the process. And when the cool thing is, when you get back on square after you've been knocked off, you're bigger and stronger than you were before. So that is growth and expansion. So thanks so much for tuning into the Carmiece Graves radio show. I'll be back next Tuesday, and we'll pick up the discussion about alimony. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in.
You've been listening to the Carmiece Graves Show with attorney Carmiece Graves. To reach attorney Graves, please call 240-573-7153. That's 240-573-7153. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday at 10 a.m. right here on WOL 1450 AM, where information is power.